Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Angel from Simply Angel Tia. In this video we're working on this short skirt with ruffles in the bottom like this. So hopefully this is something that you will be looking to make for yourself or for your loved ones. This is very simple, it's nothing much to learn. You're using a very simple stitch. And as you guys know, I like to make simple things, hence why the channel is called Simply Angel Tia. It's because I use very simple stitches to make very simple projects that look like they are nice and complicated. Okay, so this is what we're working on today. It's kind of like a tennis skirt or just like a skirt with ruffles. So go ahead and get your materials. I will do the same and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay my lovelies, so before we get started with this project, I'm going to show you the materials that I'm using for it. I have my yarn here. This is 100% acrylic. Brand name is called Azurite. I may be saying it wrong, but that is what it is. 100% acrylic. It's 50 grams for this skein. Recommended hook size for crochet is 3.5 to 4 millimeter crochet hook. And what else do we have here? It says here color is 0611, but we're going to call this I guess purple-ish. Yeah, so this is the information about this yarn here. You can obviously use any yarn of your choice. For a crochet hook size, I'm gonna kind of use it a little bit bigger than what is recommended. I'm using 4.25 millimeter crochet hook or G6, and that is just so I can have my work a little bit loose. You can obviously use what is recommended, or you can use whatever crochet hook that you find comfortable and that you will work better with. Okay, I have my tape measure here. I have my scissors, some stitch markers, and a darning needle. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with the band of the tennis skirt here. I will leave a little bit of a long tail like this to be able to join the two sides of our panel together of our band. So not too long, just something like this, like 10 to 15 inches. And I'm going to start by doing a slip knot. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and do a slip knot like this. Okay, and then I'm going to start by doing a chain of 11. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 and 11. That's our chain of 11 here. And then we're going to skip the first chain here in the second one from there. So the second from the hook, we're going to work a single crochet in the back of the foundation chain. And then we're going to do that for the remaining 9 stitches. So at the end of this, we should have 10 stitches all together. Okay, so you guys are familiar with this by now because pretty much any wearable that I have on my channel has this stitch to start with. So go ahead and complete this to the end of the row and then come back when you've reached the end. Okay, so that's the end of the first row, and this is going to be the wideness or the width of the band of the skirt. So as you can see, it's about that. And if we measure it, it's probably going to be about 2 inches. Could be 3, but we will see. So if we don't stretch it at all, this band is about, oops, let's go into inches instead. This band is about 2.5 inches, just a little bit under 2.5. Okay, so you're going to determine how wide you want your band to be by doing the number of chains. So the more chains you do, the wider the band is going to be. But for now, this is what we're doing. Okay, you're going to chain 1 and turn your work to start the second row, and then you're going to work your single crochets in the back loop right after the chain, the stitch right after the chain 1. And you're going to do this until the end. At the end, the final stitch, we go through both loops, and then we chain 1, turn, and we repeat this. And we're going to do this until it's as wide as I guess a size that's gonna cover the widest part of our hips when you stretch it. So again, if you don't have very wide hips, it could just be the same circumference as your waist. But if you have wide hips like I do, I have to make this part of the project a little bit long or wider so that I can actually pull up my skirt from the bottom up. So I'm going to do about 38 inches when I stretch my work fully, because we want to be able to pull it up your from the legs up, so that it can fit properly when you do, or you can actually be able to put it on. Okay, so with that said, we will probably end up doing a drawstring at the end so that we can have it fit our waist. For me particularly, my waist is a lot smaller than my hip size. So my waist is about 25 inches, and my hip size, the widest part of my hip is about 38. So that's a big difference there. So I'm going to make it so that I can actually wear it. So do this until you have the length that you need, or the circumference that will cover the widest part of your hips, and then come back when you have that, and make sure you're stretching your work, this part of it here. Make sure you're stretching it for it to actually fit. Don't make it so that it's too loose, because it's gonna be too loose on the waist otherwise. So make sure you're stretching it as far as you can stretch it, and then measure that, and it should be the length or the circumference of the widest part of your hips. And then come back and we will go ahead and work on the next part of the project. Okay, so this is what you should have going forward. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed the length that I need here. So as you can see, without stretching it, this is how wide it is. And if I stretch it, of course, it goes really wide. So as you can see here, this being an acrylic yarn, it stretches quite a lot. So I have my size here, and that's pretty much what the band of my skirt is gonna be. And of course, if it's gonna be too loose for my waist, I'm going to do a drawstring to be able to pull it together so that it fits me on the waist side as well. Okay, but with that done here, we're going to join the two sides together like this. So all you will need to do is bring in your darning needle that you should have nearby as you're working. And then you're going to join the two sides. Make sure you're doing it straight and it's not twisted. And then you're just going to go ahead and grab the two stitches on this side and then the two stitches on the other side. You're going to pull, and then you're just going to repeat that in that same stitch one more time to really secure it in place like this. And then for the remaining stitches, which is the remaining 9 stitches, you're going to grab the inside loop of your stitches here and then the outside loop of the stitch on the other side. Then pull, and then don't pull too much because you don't want it to be too loose. And then you're just going to go to the next stitch and do the same thing, and then to the next stitch and do the same thing, and you're going to do this all the way to the end of this row here. Okay, and as you can see here, I have one final stitch, which is this stitch here. Okay, and I have done my 9 stitches here. The first one I did 2 stitches, two loops in one, and then now that I have my final one here, I'm going to do 2 in 1 as well, and I'm going to grab both loops like this, so not just one loop like we did the other 8. So I'm going to do it so that I'm pulling between through both of those loops like this, and it's just gonna make it so that it seals properly. And we're going to do that twice, just like we did the other side, the opposite side here. Okay, so you do that twice like this, and then you just remove your the darning needle, and you just leave this hanging here like this. It's going to be your guide of where you know your work started and where it ends. Okay, so as you can see, this is how it looks like. Okay, this is the joining right here. It looks very nice and neat and clean. Okay, and now what I will do is we're going to make sure we have our work divided in a half like this. Okay, so you put it flat with the seam where we stop the work right in the middle. And the reason we're doing this is because we're going to make sure we're increasing on the side. So that's one way of doing it. I don't like the seam to fall on the back of my skirt. I'd like it to fall on the side. So what I will do is I will have it like this, okay? Because I like the seam of the skirt to be on the side as opposed to be in the back or the front. I like it to be on the side like this. So that's up to you. You can either do it the way I just showed you or this way. And then what we will do is this side, we don't have to do a stitch marker because I know where it is based on this string hanging here. But on the opposite side, if you fold it into exactly a half like this, the opposite side is right here. And if you're not very sure about your work, you can count your stitches. But I know that this is my halfway point here, okay? Now that I have that there, I'm going to pretty much start by doing the rest here, which is pretty much bringing my crochet hook in. I'm going to do a chain of 1 and then turning my work like this, okay? And what I will do in that same stitch here, I'm going to do a half double crochet. So that chain 1 that I just did counts as a half double crochet, and then now I did 1 right in it. So I just increased already, okay? So as you remember, this side is going to be where we increase, and this side is where we're going to increase, because we want our tennis skirt to get wide like this as we work on it, as opposed to it going straight down like this, okay? So now that I have increased there, I am going to then go on to the next stitch and do a half double crochet, okay? Just a normal half double crochet, and in the next, which is right here, do a half double crochet. And my stitches are pretty much the stitches from the single crochets that we did. So on top of this section here, I do a half double crochet, and then in the middle of this place that goes inwards, I do a half double crochet, and then I repeat again, and I do these all the way until I get to the stitch marker, and where then we will do 2 half double crochets in the same stitch. But for now, just work your half double crochet stitches like this to the stitch marker and then come back. Do it until the stitch right before the stitch marker and then come back. Okay, my lovelies, so I have worked my half double crochets pretty much along the half of the side of the skirt here. And as you can see, I just did my half double crochet in this stitch right here. And now I get to where the stitch marker is, where I will temporarily remove it. And then I'm going to go into that space and do my 2 half double crochets in the same stitch. And then I'm going to place my stitch marker in the final stitch that we just did here, okay? And then I continue to do my half double crochet stitches as per usual, all the way until I get back to the beginning of this row. And so I would like you guys to do the same when you get to where we started the project off right here, or where we started the row right here. Come back and I will show you what to do there, and then I will have you guys pretty much repeat this until we get to a certain point where we have to change what we're doing a little bit, okay? So but for now, I will meet you guys where this string is hanging. Okay, so I have gone ahead and worked the other half of the side here with the half double crochet. So as you can see, I am just done. I did my final one there. So what we're gonna do is we're going to slip stitch on top of the chain 1 that we did to start this row. We're just going to go ahead and grab that and slip stitch so that we can join the 2 sides like this, okay? So again, if you put these down like this flat, it's going to be that it's going to be exactly on the opposite side we have the stitch marker, and then exactly on the opposite side we have the same where we start and finish our work off, okay? And now to start the second row, I'm going to do a chain 1 and turn. And by the way, a lot of you guys ask me why I turn when I work with this work, why we go in a circle. We turn because if we don't, our seam is going to go like this. It's going to keep going where you're continuing. So let's say I was to do chain 1 and continue working this way. That means the seam, now it's on this stitch right here. The next one will be on this stitch. The next one will be on that stitch, and it's going to continue to move itself this way. And so when I have my skirt completed, the seam is going to look like this as opposed to straight down like this. So that's one of the the main reason that I know. Maybe there's other reasons people do it, but for me, I do it because I've done why I continue working in the circle, and I've realized that my seam is moving towards where I work to, okay? So that's why. Anyway, so we do our chain 1 here, and then we turn, and usually as I turn, I also flip my work like this, so it's easier to work with. And then in this very next stitch, the same stitch where I just did my chain 1, I'm going to do my second half double crochet in that. So my chain 1 counts as a stitch, and then now I have a second stitch there, so now it's an increase. And then I will just continue to do my half double crochets in every single stitch until I get to the stitch marker. So I will have you guys do the same. Meet me when you get to the stitch marker. I will show you how you continue to increase there, and then I will have you guys repeat it, okay? Because there's nothing else different on this at this part of the project, beside just repeating these until you have what you need, which I will explain when we get to the end of this row. Okay, so go ahead and do this until you get to the stitch marker and then come back so I can show you how to increase again. Okay, so I have gone ahead and went around to the second part of the project here. So I've completed from the beginning to where the stitch marker is, and now that I've reached the stitch marker, I'm going to remove it. Okay, and I'm going to do a regular half double crochet on that stitch there, which is where we increased previously, because I'm going to increase on the one next to it. So I'm going to go here and then do my 2 half double crochets there. Okay, and then again I'm going to place my stitch marker in that stitch like this. So the last stitch that you did of the 2 increases, you're going to place your stitch marker there. The reason we're doing this is when we increase in the exact same spot, it's going to create a very sharp kind of corners like this, and we don't want that. We want it to increase on the sides, but without it looking like it's going straight in this angle like this. We don't want it to go like this. Okay, we want it to kind of gradually keep increasing, but it's going like this, not like this. So this is why we don't increase in the exact same stitch every time, because it just makes a very sharp turn. Okay, and now that I've placed that there, I go ahead and I work my regular half double crochets all around until I get to the beginning of the project again. So I'm not going to show you guys how to finish the rest of it here, because then it's just a repeat of the last. So I just wanted to show you guys how we increase in the part where the stitch marker is. Okay, so we're going to work our half double crochets all the way here. The last one is going to be in this stitch here, which is our last stitch. Okay, and then we're going to slip stitch on top of the chain 1 that we did. So we're going to slip stitch here, chain 1, turn, and then you do another half double crochet in that same stitch that you did the chain 1 in, and then continue. And then when you get to the stitch marker, you do what we did. So in the spot where the stitch marker is, you don't increase there, you increase in the next one, but always place it back where you did the last increase, and then where you did the increase in this row, and then you just continue to do the same thing. Okay, now how long do we continue to do this for? We're going to do this until we get this part, the widest part of our hips. Okay, so again, I told you guys earlier, my hips are about 38 inches. Okay, that is if I want it to be tight. If I want it to be a little bit on the loose side, I usually go to 40, so I add 2 more inches like this. Okay, so, but for now I'm going to do the 38. I will try my skirt on to see if it's too tight. If it's a little bit loose, then if it fits and it's comfortable, I leave it here, and if it's not, I continue until I have 40 inches. And how do I get to 40 inches? Okay, how do I get that length? We're not doing it this long, we're doing it as half of this. So for example, if I go to 40, then it means 20 is the length that I'm gonna do when I measure my work from a corner like this to the other end. Okay, so as you can see here, I already have 12. If I put it down next to it like this, if I put it like this, I already have almost 13 inches of this work that I've been working on. So I'm increasing the rest of it until I get to 20. So I need to make sure, in addition to the inches I have here, that I do 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I do about another 7 inches. So when I have a length of my skirt here that goes to 20 inches, okay, then I stop there, because that means I just hit the widest part of my hips. And when I do that, we're gonna come back so we can do the ruffles. We could do the part in the bottom of the tennis skirt that is more like crunched up. Okay, so but for now, do what you need to do until you get to the widest part of your hips. As soon as it touches the widest part of your hips, you stop there, and then you come back so we can start the next part of the project. Okay, all right, see you guys in a bit, my lovelies. So I have gone ahead and completed the tennis skirt here, just until I get to where my hip size ends, like the widest part of my hips. And of course, this is very stretchy, so when I stretch this, I get about almost 20. It's about 19.5 inches. My half of my circumference of the widest part is about 38. So usually I do about a little bit bigger, just to make sure it's not going to be too tight on me. So I went a little bit wider here just to make sure it's going to be a comfortable fit on me. Okay, so now that I have that, and just for those of you who want to know, this distance from here to here is about 9 inches. So this is pretty much from right below my belly button and to where the widest part of my hips kind of starts. And that's what we have here. Okay, so now we're going to do the rest part of the skirt here, and we're going to work on the section that is the ruffles. And by ruffles I mean, for the tennis skirt, is the part that has like waves in it. So that is what we're gonna be working on here next. Okay, so I'm gonna start a row like that, and then I'm gonna pretty much have you build the rest of it, because it's gonna be a repeat until the length that you're looking for. But for the start here, we're gonna do something a little bit different, so I need to show you how to do that, because it's not gonna be the same as what we've been working on here. Okay, so as you can see here, I finished my last row working on the inside of the skirt, and I slip stitched right here. So, and then I will chain 2. So we have been doing a chain 1 to work on the rest of the project, but for this one I'm going to do a chain of 2, and then I'm going to turn like this. So now I'm working on the outside of the skirt, and then I'm going to do 2 double crochet stitches in every single stitch all around. So starting on this one right here, so I'm going to go right into that same stitch where my chain 2 comes from and do a double crochet, and then I'll do 2 double crochets in the next stitch. Okay, and then I'm going to do 2 double crochets in the next, and like I said again, we're doing 2 double crochets in every single stitch all around. Okay, so see, I've already forgotten here, and I did 1 in this one. So make sure you're paying attention, because I wasn't clearly paying attention right there. But you're gonna do your double crochets in every single stitch around until you come back here. Okay, so work around like this. When you get back here, come back to the video, and I will show you how to start the next row, and that's gonna be the repeat row for the remaining of the project. Okay, I will see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed the row of the double crochet with increasing in every single stitch around the skirt here. So as you can see, it started to widen up a lot and to wrinkle up a lot as well, because we're going to be creating the ruffles that we see in tennis skirts. And so I'm going to show you how to start the second row of this, and then you're going to pretty much repeat that until you have the length that you're looking for. So it's not something too complicated. Okay, now we have come to the end of it here. I'm just preparing my yarn. Okay, so that's the last 2 double crochets I've done in the same stitch here. So we've increased in every single stitch all around. And now that I have that, I'm going to go into the second stitch of the chain 2 that we started the row with, and I'm gonna slip stitch right like that. Okay, so that seals that section like this. Then I'm going to do a chain of 2 again and turn. Okay, and now for this row, we're going to work a single crochet in every single stitch around. Okay, so we're gonna go into that next stitch here and do a double crochet, and then we're gonna do a double crochet. I think I just said single crochet, but I meant double crochet, and we do a single stitch in every single stitch, a single stitch of the single crochet. Oh, let me do that again. We're gonna do a double crochet in every single stitch all around, and we're gonna keep repeating this. So we're gonna work this stitch all around. When we come back here, we'll do our last one here. We will slip stitch on top of the chain 2 that we started, chain 2, turn and repeat, and we're gonna do that until you have the length that you're looking for. So I'm going to do, maybe I will do about 10 rows and then see how it looks like, and if the 10 rows is too short, I will continue, if I get to the length that I'm looking for before I get to even the 10 rows, I will come back. But for now, we're going to continue doing these stitches all around until we have the length. Okay, so I will see you guys when you have completed the length that you're looking for this. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed the ruffle section of the skirt here. So as you can see, I did about 10 rows, and that is what it looks like. So it exactly what I wanted it to be. And as you can see, these ruffles in the bottom are extremely cute, and this skirt is so cute. I tried it on. It's just like, I love it so much. And this is pretty much going to be the end of the project here. So as you can see, I have pretty much cut off my yarn here, and I have just to slip stitch here and then weave in my end. So what I'm gonna do here right now is I'm just gonna slip stitch to the first stitch over there, and then I'm gonna kind of lock it in like this, and I will weave this in. Okay, the other thing that I did offline, and also because it's very easy, I don't need to show you how to do that, is that I did a chain that was long enough to go around as a drawstring for the top of the skirt. I don't quite need it, but since this is done in acrylic, it may kind of stretch in the long run. And any yarn that I have left of this, I probably would have used it for something else. So why not just have a strap available, or what do you call this, drawstring available, so that if I need to use it, I have it already. Okay, so I have it here, and it's just a chain that I did. So just a single chain that I did that is long enough to go around like this, was enough to be able to tie it. And then I took my darning needle and I just kind of went in these bumps here that we have here. I just kind of went in on top of those, and then in on the inside and then on the outside, and kind of just weaved it around all the way to the beginning here. Okay, and as you can see here, this is the side that has the seam. So I have it on the side of the skirt, and it will either yeah, it will be on the right hand side of my body when I have these on. Okay, so this is pretty much the end of the project here. What I will also do is I will weave in the string where we started off the project right here, and then I will weave in where we ended the project here. And when both of those are done, then this skirt is ready to be worn. Yeah, so that's pretty much it here. So I hope you guys enjoyed making this as much as I did. Thank you so much for watching the video to the end. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please don't wait too long. Go ahead and do so. Comment in the section, comment below if you have any questions, if you just want to say hello. And of course, I will see you guys in the next one. See ya. Bye.